What a journey. What a journey. I never thought we'd be here. What else do you say to that? I mean, last time in the stew in here, baby. I mean, I'm always going to be in the stew, but this is different field. This is the stew, and we're in the stew. I know the mic's working. I don't want to hear nothing. What is going on to my beautiful people? It feels like I haven't seen you in forever. My goodness, I'm not used to not seeing you guys all the time. What is going on? It has been a journey in the stew. It might look a little different. I think the best part about evolving as a person is that you evolve your environment. And so, honestly, I think it'd be cool next time I do a studio setup at a new house. We'll do something different. You know what I do miss? I want to balance out having some personal stuff in the background and then being able to have this whole thing. Thank you so much. The entrances have always been important to me. It's important for me to it has to be worth your time, because if I just show up just regular, spinning around in my little chair on nothing. Sorry, I look crazy today. I'm basically still. Once we're done with the stream, I'm actually going to be taking the studio apart. It's kind of heartbreaking. So this is literally last time in the stew. It's all going to get brought down and we're going to move on. So it is interesting. But for one last time, we in the stew, baby. And we'll be here just today. We'll have a new setup. But it is definitely, I love that. This is not about, it's never been about location. It's always been about the people. You guys are the people. And this has been our community. I guess my monitor doesn't want to work. So I just, I can't wait for our next chapter. And I say that because I know a lot has changed very quickly on this channel. And honestly, having a little time away, just in the sense of like not streaming with you guys every day, has, oh, you want to see the stew takedown? You did watch me put it together, and it was interesting because you guys saw the development. I had those different panels. I like those panels. I still have them. So we're going to do something really cool with the next one. Hopefully it looks different. But if you guys if you want a video, I'll 100% give you a video. But it's interesting because when I did our first video, I was on a black curtain in a big room with no carpets. So you could hear every echo. It's the room I interviewed Lori in, and I did a few podcast videos in there. And then you guys saw me, I moved to like an open area that was up in the front of the house. And that was like the studio, but it was right against the wall where there were cars. And so I was really scared you guys were going to hear everything that was coming through the mic. But I had all the shelves behind me. So I put all the stuff on the shelves, and we had freaking Booty Crack Jay back there. I still have it. Like all that stuff is still there. So then we kind of went to like a very simple, clean look, which obviously I like to, but I miss some of that stuff. So we have made progression. I just want to say that it's been part of the community to watch it grow and change, which is interesting. And it feels like it's part of our history as a community. Now back to what I was saying. Our community has also done the same thing. And it's like in these kinds of moments when I'm stepped away and really thought about everything, it made me, number one, miss having this interaction right here, just doing this and hanging out. And then secondly, it made me realize how, like I told you guys before, there is nothing that anyone could offer me or do to make me want to ever risk this in any way, shape, or form. So it made me feel good about my decisions. I think sometimes everybody questions themselves. It's not that you're not sure. It's just that there's always questions. And when I felt like the documentary company was trying to get in between that, I just felt like that was wrong. And I don't think that has anything to do with the story. But I just want you guys to know, no matter what I'm doing in my life, personally, our community is always going to be here, and it's always going to mean something to me. If I could tell you everything that was going on in the background, it'd just be too long. It's a lot. And so it's been like a very overwhelming few weeks. And so that's why I've just been completely absent, because I just don't even have the energy. I'm still wearing the clothes I wore to the gym because I've been moving the stuff all day, right? Like it's just raw. You're getting it raw. So that's what it is. But I'm excited because I also want to discuss one thing. Oh, 100% slow. It's hard not to. It's hard not to overthink. You have to learn how to what I do is sometimes I say it and then I just try to pick it apart and see if it needs to be applied or not. That's really it. But really where I'm at right now is I just want to reiterate that this community is always going to mean the world to me. This studio this is a very bittersweet place, and I'll tell you why. When we moved to this house, you guys remember it was like the week of the trial for Charles. And so once we moved in, it was like set it up, and then I don't know. I don't remember exactly the timing of it, but I was like going through a lot at that time. And then not even that long after, the was it Charles's or Brandon's? I don't remember, but I don't remember. Sorry. I think it was after Charles. Yep, it was after. My bad. It was Brandon's trial. And you know, we kind of just got right in to the studio. Like, I think the first video, if you look back, I could show it to you. There's just a raw wall. Like, it's literally nothing on the wall. It's just panels. And then, just built over time. But it's interesting because I have a bittersweet relationship with this house because I have I had the TIA here. There's a lot of like just that bad memory association to this house. And it's not to say that this is a negative place, but you know what I mean? Like, there's just a bittersweet thing here. But obviously, my life changed personally in that way with my health, and then my family thing. I felt like was supposed to be a write off into the sunset, and I wish that that made any sense. But you have this idea in your head of how things are going to conclude. Like, this whole thing at that time was like it was finally getting to the end, and it's like, here's the justice, here's the jail, everything's done. It's all kind of wrapped and packaged, and I just remember almost feeling the emptiness of like, okay, that is great. I prayed for this. We all prayed for the justice to be served. And then you realize that the reality is you still wake up the next day and it's all still the same thing. And so the justice does feel great, but then there's that other part of you that realizes like you're still living in that reality. It doesn't ever go away. And I think that's kind of just the hard part about when you move. It just, so much change happens. I've always tried to just though be upfront with you guys on like where I'm at and just keep you in the loop of like what I'm going through personally, just because I hope it can help you. But this studio obviously is something that I feel like we built into, and that's what's so amazing is like there's literal progression over time for that. So I think that's beautiful, and that just is a big testament to our community. Yep, I know. I was actually pretty pissed about that, to be honest with you, Emily, because in my head I wanted to say that in front of Lori, and I wanted to look at her and say it. So that was like my way of like delivering that for my family, like a final. And I asked, I don't even know I told you guys this. I asked the nurse, and I asked her to ask the head person, could you take me to the court, let me do the victim impact statement, and then come back to the hospital? Because they're not allowed to just let you go. So I was like, well, why don't you just like go with me? It's because I've watched too much House. You can't just break the rules. But in my mind, I'm like, if Dr. House was here, he'd let me go, give my statement and then come on back. And that's just what it is. I wish I had Dr. House. Maybe he'd know what's wrong with my head. Maybe I don't even know what's going on with me. But it's interesting because, like I said, our community has grown so much, and I see so many of your faces, and I just think to myself how blessed I am. I say this every time, but I'm blessed to have you guys. And this whole journey of what I never expected is this life journey to share my life with you guys. But I'll be honest, like this whole last thing we haven't really talked about, and when it comes to this documentary, when it comes to all this stuff, I feel like God really put me in a very specific position where I kind of started to see like if all of this stuff didn't go a very specific way, I wouldn't be thinking about doing it this way. Um, I'm not even playing. I'm not even kidding. I literally was like thinking about just, can someone just take me to the courthouse so I can say this? Because to me, closing the book was like telling Lori like this to her face. This is a very big moment. And I didn't get to give my impact statement because I just started my job. You guys don't even know the story of Boise. When I went to Lori's trial, that is a story, bro. I don't think I've ever told you guys that story. That was something. That was a whole ordeal and I went through. But I got to go up there. I testified. I was supposed to start a new job. So I actually had to push the training out to be in Boise that first week I was there. And then I went back. And then so right as her in right when they were doing the impact statements and all that stuff, I wanted to give my part, but I was at work and I was listening to it like live as it was being fed through. And I obviously wish I could have been there, but I felt like I couldn't leave a new job. Like I just felt like I didn't have that opportunity. So it really sucked. Um, so that's what that was. Oh, 100%. That is the truest statement. You gotta be really careful with your stress. It will mess you up, mess your body up. So be very careful. Stress has a way of really destroying your body. You still need booty crack, Jordan. I got it. I got it. I promise. You're gonna see it. I got to get it back up on the shelf. Plus, I have so much artwork from you guys. I have pictures of Tylee and JJ. I have so much stuff. So I'm gonna create a new studio look, and I'm excited. It gives me a new opportunity. But I tell you guys all this story because this has become bigger than just my personal journey. Once I feel like I brought this to YouTube and started discussing it, it kind of opened up this like therapeutic way of like processing my own life. But then like we started talking about different things. And when you start having people engage and then you start to talk about all these different aspects, you just form this bond with people. And like a lot of you guys understand trauma. A lot of you guys understand, different things that we've experienced that we've never even met in person, a lot of us. And yet we have this connection through something. And so that was always the three goals of this channel, right? Turn the narrative back around, turn that thing right back around, because the stuff they're saying in the media is ridiculous. And then it was to try to tell the truth, which is like correct a lot of those things that were pissing me off. And then, just have a place where I felt like I could say my piece without people talking for me or assuming or writing about me on a post or just, not having context. And, in the beginning, a lot of people say this, say the negative stuff, whatever, it's the internet. But then this happened. I was like, man, God's doing something big. So I don't know. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for our community. I feel like each time a new studio, we go through this progression, it feels like it's a tide and times are changing. And with the whole documentary thing, it really came from this place of I didn't have the confidence to do it. I didn't have the heart to do it. I felt like I was pushing myself in a place where I said it has to be with a company because I can't do this part and I can't, and you just put a bunch of limitations on yourself. And so I really prayed about it and I really sat on it. And I thought, if I just like am able to do it the right way, it's a one and done situation. It's like tell the story and then, that's all I've ever asked for. And I feel like everything just happened a certain way. And I don't know. Then with you guys being supportive of it, I don't even know what to say. I can't thank you guys enough for everything. Like this whole channel, this whole experience is something past anything I ever imagined. I absolutely love that, man. And it's you guys, it's so beautiful because you're going through your life and we have a very different kind of community. It's not the kind of community that gets together around like a hot topic kind of thing. Like, it's like, I'll give you an example. I watch like Star Wars stuff. I guess I used to, I don't really do it anymore, but like things like that, where you're like interested in like a certain subject and everybody gets together. That's great. Or sports or something like that. This community is so different than anything I would have ever imagined doing because it's so much more, it's so grounded in like our real lives. And you guys share stuff on here and I don't know how to explain it. I just don't know how else you can explain it other than just an exponential amount of growth. Oh, 100%. And that's something that I want to do. I wrote my book back in I want to say, what was it, 21 or 22, and it would be a very different story now, and it'd be my whole life story. I've never shared that, and I think the only reason I do is because I know it would help people. I've experienced stuff that other people, I used to like Star Wars. My heart's been broken over time, but that's a different subject for a different time. The new Star Wars really has shattered me. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I'm grateful because my first book was my heart. It was as raw as it gets. It was my words, my stories, my heart, and I felt like I I always wanted to do the part two. And the reason I split it into two books is because I just felt like you can't put all this in one place. That's just how I felt at the time. I just felt like I couldn't give. It's like what happened in my life with my family really split like dimensional time, in my opinion. Like it just feels like two different lives, literally. I never want to say that because of the connotation of of Lori and Chad and multiple lives, but like seriously, when that happened, it was such an astronomical change that it feels like it's its own separate time, like almost as if that time that was before feels like it's almost like a dream. It's so faded, and then we're in this new time. But I never thought I'd be able to tell you guys the story. And again, like I said, I could sit here right now and just for the rest of the night run you through everything from my perspective about my family, my sister, my brother, our stories, and you guys could probably learn a lot and hear a lot. And then I thought some things, like I said, some things are so important to share with other people's perspectives because other people live the same life and that wasn't me. So you wouldn't be getting firsthand information, or you'd be getting firsthand information, but not from one single person. And so that was the whole reason why I wanted to do a documentary, because that's the perspective part. And so you get a wider view and understanding of the whole thing. And that was always the reason why I wanted to do a documentary. So I just wanted to bring that up. But it feels like there's just that times of, times are changing kind of situation. Frick this, moving on. We love you, Colbs. I love you too, guys. I really do. Thank you. But like I will say this too, and you guys, I always get emotional. It's just the realest thing ever. You guys don't understand how alone I was. My world crumbled, and I thought that everyone was only ever going to see the Colby that went through that, and like that was it. I felt like I think I've said this on the channel, but I felt like for me, I was the wounded animal on the side of the road, and everybody just drove past it. It's like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. And that's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch the animal. It's dying. It just felt like that. And so like to actually create a community, it was unexpected when I started this channel. I was just so sick and tired of watching the media. Like, I was just such a big part of the reason why I came back to YouTube. And if you know what I mean by come back, we were doing content of like family stuff. And I just felt like my whole thing was I wanted to tell people like, this is how you move through your life while this is happening. So we were just trying to show our family, and we were trying to like just show that you can still have hope. It's okay to laugh and cry and have emotions. You're a person. And some people think you should act a certain way. Like I'll give you a perfect example right now. Some people are on Savannah Guthrie's social media, going on her about why are you smiling? How can you be happy? Bro, your life is still moving. Things are happening. And it's just like this horrible weight that you're carrying where you don't know what's happening with someone you love. But at the same time, it already steals so much of your life. And at the same time, you're trying to like have this balance because like your life is stopping and going at the same time. And for me, obviously, COVID was happening at the same time. So it kind of just put everything to a halt. That's a whole nother story. But you know what I mean? It's interesting because it was so public, I just felt like I couldn't stand the narrative anymore. And so I just made the channel, and then it just turned into all these other reasons that need to be put out there. And that's the point, is like, I could have never imagined a bunch of love and support. Cause honestly, I had seen so much of the negative stuff on all the different social media platforms about what people were saying about me, and people taking pictures of me at Walmart. Lori Vallow's son shops for watermelons. It's like, who even cares? Is that a big deal? Is that what you guys want to know? I got a watermelon. You took a picture of it. Cheers to new adventures, a new stew, and yet same frick fam. I love it. The stew is the studio. That's what we call our studio. We just say we're in the stew. It's our studio. It's just basically when I'm in the stew, when I say that, first of all, it came up out of nowhere. It was organic thought to say we in the stew. And then, but it's funny because I get excited about coming in here and doing the videos and doing lives. Because, a lot of people, most people that I know usually do videos, like pre-made videos. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not hating or trying to compare or anything. I love doing our lives for this reason, because it's interactive for me. It's exciting. And even if we're watching a video or doing whatever, it's all happening together as a community. And it allows a conversation to be had. And so that's what I love about it. I still, first of all, I'd love to give you a hug. And secondly, I feel bad because when we went to when we went to CrimeCon, I told Ray we were working out and we just got done. And I said, I really want to go see the venue of where we're going to speak because I didn't know what it looked like. And it's, it was just like, I just want to see where we're going to be. So he's like, I think it's over here. So we're walking around and we start meeting people. And I like want to give them big hugs, but I'm in my workout clothes and I feel like I'm nasty. And I just felt like I was trying to push my armpits together. And then we're leaving and we see Nate, and Nate's like, come take a picture. And I'm like trying to push my arm closed in case I smell bad and I'm all sweaty. But I love giving people hugs. I like to get a little fresh for your sake, you know? And like I said, I'm a taller and bigger guy. So when I hug people, a lot of people are right here in the chest, armpit area. So I try not to get you in the armpit. You gotta have some good smells going. You gotta clean it up. I like to be clean. You come in here trying to start problems. I know what you're doing. You're starting fires. I know you, and I know you're starting fires over there. Okay, here's what we'll do. Let me think of a way. I'm going to give you guys this opportunity. I will legitimately put up a Grease One poster in the studio, but I have to figure out what the conditions are. But I'll do it. I'll put Danny right here, front and center. He'll be part of the background. But I like to bring back pictures. I have a bunch of beautiful pictures of Tylee and JJ and Charles, and I'd like to bring character back to the backgrounds. Not that I don't love this. I think this is beautiful. But it's just this is like my kind of taste where it's very simple, very sleek, and just very simple, like nothing. And then the other one was really crowded. So it's like this really different contrast. I'd like to mix those two things. So just a little bit of stuff on the walls, and make it a little more comfortable. Yes, it's very important to know that. It's very important to know there's just no perfect way to grieve. There's no perfect way to act when you're going through hell. Some people laugh. Like there's people who have literally talked about being in a traumatic event and laughing and crying at the same time. There is no one way that we say this is how this is supposed to be. This is how you're supposed to grieve. This is how you're supposed to feel. This is how you're supposed to act. I don't like that. How is that? Where is that measure for each person? It doesn't exist. We know that there's stages, but you know that people can actually have the stages of grief in different orders. It doesn't perfectly go through, you know, these different places because sometimes you revert backwards. Sometimes you go from angry to acceptance to sadness. It can move around. And so I don't like that there's some notion out there that it's supposed to look a certain way. And then we get on here and when it is public, some people are criticizing someone who's going through a hard time. And so I just try to say, be very careful with what you say and how you read certain situations. Because some people are really going through hell and people are just throwing piling on. Let's just be honest. But there's no specific way to do anything in this world. I don't think that's how that works. Nobody can tell you how to feel. Appreciate it, George. God bless you too. Exactly. And people feel different and react differently, there's no perfect way to do that. I don't think that that's okay to say to other people because then it makes you think you're supposed to be on this scale that doesn't really exist. And I've even had people who are like therapists. I didn't have like a therapist, but people who are therapists trying to give advice, but they're like, you really need to do this and accelerate into this place. And I'm like, I appreciate that. I understand that you have good intentions. It just doesn't work like that. When it's very multi-layered, you cannot do that. And I want to say this again. I know I say this a lot on this channel, but since that subject's even in the realm, what I also want there to be, and always say to you, is that there's no scale of grief. And I'll say in the sense of sometimes people think, I hear this a lot, and this is no disrespect to you. I want you to understand that because I love you guys. But it's like, I've never been through what you've been through. It's nothing compared to you or this or that. And it's like, dude, there's never going to be a perfect situation. Hold on one second. Give me one. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I gotta help Ava with her jammies. Give me 1 second. She just got out of the bath and then she goes, I have my unicorn nightgown. No, hold on. I'm like, what? My unicorn is like such a big deal as a unicorn one. I don't remember what we were talking about. Oh, the scale. Okay. Do not F with an ADHD person. It does not work very well. The scale of me saying, and just having that, like, everything is a certain way, like, oh my gosh, yours is so much worse than mine. Everybody has a mountain in their life, and none of us go through exactly the same thing. I think we all understand the sentiment, though. I think when you see someone who's been through it, there's just there's a look in their eyes. There's an understanding that's not even really spoken most of the time. You just have an understanding, and I think that that's the point. Is like we understand each other in an intangible way. We don't have to say it, and I think that's what's beautiful. Is like I just don't want it to seem like there's some like scale. Like I can't complain because someone else has been through so much. But at the same time, I do say that in the sense of positivity to say this. It could always be worse. And I just want to put it out there. It could always be worse. Well, every time I heard something, and I'm going to use my cuss word of the day, okay? And maybe this doesn't count as a cuss word, but I would say, holy shit. Every time I heard something, it was so much worse of what Lori had done. And every time I heard more court stuff or more documents or more texts or more information was put out there, I thought to myself, there is no way that it's worse than my imagination. I thought I imagined, like I had an idea in my head of how something works or how it was, and it was always worse. And so it can always be worse. And I can say that very clearly because every time I heard something, it was worse than what I even imagined. And I think that's a bad feeling. So sometimes you just have to understand it's both ways. It goes both ways. You can say it could always be worse to keep yourself up, and then to always say, no, I'm not going to I'm not going to belittle what I went through because someone went through something more, because it's different. It's just different. That's it. It's just perspective. Exactly. Kathy just said it perfectly. Your mountain and my mountain are not the exact same thing. And that's the point. That's just what it is. And I just want people to realize that it's important for you to, the best way to not be a victim to your own life is to do two things. Number one, accept the situation. That takes a long time. And then number two, do not constantly talk negative and put that out there and just like allow the melting, because that sulking part is real. There's a place and time, but you have to move on with the season. Like you have to move with the season. And I think that the number one way to honor your family or people you love that you've lost, whether it's your friend, your family, doesn't matter. If you lost someone, the way to do right by them is try to live the best life you can until you see them again, because there really is no other option. It is lay down and die, or try to do your best. And that looks different for everybody. That's the difference. I think if people think it has to be, that's my point. You can't just run out there and say it has to look this way. Grief looks like this. Sadness looks like this, But we all do it. We all judge. We all we all have our opinions, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think it's interesting. But I try to say that for the good of us, as I try not to be a victim. I think it's really important to see things from the right perspective. I mean, in reality, I am not a direct victim because obviously my family and Tammy, they were taken. So they're the victims. And then we are like the reactive victims. So we're a victim to the situation, but I'm not on the same scale as the actual victims. Like they had their life taken. And then I'm the one that's in the back that has to deal with all the pain and grief. And so I can see myself from a correct perspective, I guess, is important. You have to somehow just get to that place where you can see yourself the right way. And just know that, like, I don't ever want to sound like I'm giving tough love or not, but life is really just never going to be fair. It isn't. And there's no such thing as fair. I think the best thing you could ever do in your life is your reaction into your situations. That's all you have. All you have is control of you, your situation, your reaction, what you do in responding. You can't stop the storm coming. I hate the word the storm. I just wish that just delete. Hold on. We're live. Just edit and delete because damn. I hate that. I can't even say the storm. The stupidest shit ever has been ruined for me. I can't even say the storm without thinking about some nasty connotation because some random freaking dude from Potato, Idaho named his thing the storm. Damn. I can't even say the storm without thinking stupid stuff. They ruined everything. And they ruined Firebirds here in Gilbert. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. I don't understand, bro. Listen, that's my point. The storm is so random. You could have named it anything, homie. Can we have that conversation? Can you think of something different than the storm? You're not a storm. Not even a damn drizzle. Get out of here. Anyway, you respond to the situation, the weather. Freaking ruining the storm for me. I know. You have no idea how many things have been ruined for me. Like just that kind of thing. Like on the smallest scale. No storms. Yeah, no thank you. Yeah, and portal too. The word portal has been ruined forever. Forever. There's so many things that have been ruined in that way that you would never think are like big deals, but they are. They're just in your head. They're not triggers, because triggers I think are used a little too lightly these days, to be honest with you. Triggers are real things, like really get you there, like really, really pull you back into that black and white thinking, to that fear, to that place. Sometimes people just use the word trigger in my personal opinion, almost a little too lightly. Like there's just words that make you think of those things, but a trigger is like something that sets you off, like pulls you into the moment. That's how I look at triggers. I could be wrong. I'm just saying that's how I've always done that. But there's things that they ruined that it's just like Kauai Beach Resort ruined. I never want to wear my Chiefs shirt that I had. I probably couldn't fit in it, but I never want to wear my Chiefs shirt again just because Chad put it and mentioned it. Do you know what's so crazy? So I was talking to Lori back then, and that whole conversation was he was calling, and I told her, do not have your husband call me. This is in COVID 2020. I said, do not have your husband call me. I don't want to talk to this dude. I don't even know him. I'm never going to speak to him. And she gave him my number and tried to have him call me, right? And I didn't answer, and he left this stupid ass voicemail. But that was the whole thing, is like he's talking to me like we're gonna be friends. And she told me before that. You wanna know the worst thing Lori's ever said? This is your inside scoop to something I've never told you guys. And I'm gonna have to save a lot of these for the documentary, just so we're clear. But this has nothing to do with the full story. You know what this woman said to me? She said to me, because again, I'm questioning her in the very beginning. I said, what the hell are you doing with this dude? Who is this random guy you married? And this is like right as she got arrested. Again, if this woman never got caught, I would never hear from that woman again. She'd be gone. If they would have like got away, I would never hear from her. The only reason we were even talking is because she got caught. Anyway, back to the point. But we were having that discussion, and I was like not messing with her at all. And she's trying to have this conversation. The worst thing she ever said, and before she said the thing about Abraham and Isaac at the very end, the very beginning when she was discussing him, she said, oh, Colby, you would love him. He's just like you. Do you know what that does to me? To hear my mother say, you're going to love Chad. He's just like you. I'm not kidding you at all when I tell you that. That is 100% a true story. And at the time, I even thought, that's weird. That's weird to say that. I've never met this guy. I don't know anything about him. And you're telling me you married a guy just like me? The hell, what the fuck are we talking about here? But now now. So. How about that? Did you find out? Frick around and find out about me. Ridiculous. We're not the same. Kendrick Lamar said it best. We are not the same. We are not the same. You are not like us. And that was the thing that's crazy, is like there was this like hatred of their kids towards me in some way. I'm like, dude, I've never met you. I don't know what you're hating for, but you're best friends with Lori. And then when it all goes public, everybody just acts like they don't know what happened. I don't know. We've never been friends. I was like, shut up. All you people, all people in the group, I don't know what happened. It's just everybody's just hanging around and we're all, it's like, shut the F up, bro. You know, get off your horse, get down on the ground, get off of that pride mountain you got going on. You knew exactly what was going on. Stupid ass. I don't want to hear that crap. But I guess, you know what's crazy? I'm going to go back to the journey real quick because I want to say when we watched the trials, that was the first time I'd ever heard that stuff, and it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, that time was hard. That was just it was just such a condensed time. But I can honestly say I'm so grateful we did that because two reasons. Number one, I felt loved and supported the whole way through from you guys, and I mean that. I couldn't have done that by myself. I wouldn't have done it by myself. I couldn't have listened to my family stuff alone. So you guys gave me that. There's a lot of comfort there. And that made me want to share more of the story with you because that means a lot to me. I just hope you guys know that. And then secondly, I'm glad I kind of condensed it, even though it was really hard and it was, I had the stroke and all that stuff. It was a really hard time. It was just very condensed. It was Charles's um trial, and then I think I watched Lori's trial. Was it after? Sorry, I'm a little foggy. I think I watched Charles and Brandon's, and then I watched Lori's after, and then we watched Chad's. And that I walked through that whole thing though, like with you guys, and I didn't realize how broad it was. I didn't realize like how many people actually played a part in that. And I didn't realize how deep it really went, like the texts and the locations and the pre-planning, like that really opened my eyes. And so I'm grateful to say that the reason why I can do a documentary now better than ever just as part of this journey, it's like it's almost the most natural progression for me as a person to now tell you what I know because I now have the bank of everything. And I have all the people who also experienced it firsthand. And they're going to tell you their perspectives. And there's a lot of things we can do that's going to be good for the overall understanding of what it was really like to live through this and experience it. And then what the people who are involved were really like. That's the other goal. So that's always been the point. And Lori is not the main focus. And that's not what a lot of people want. And so that's okay. It's not for everybody, but I don't think there's anything more you're going to learn from another iteration of her story of her psychosis or what you think about her. You're not going to learn much more. Just going to say it. But if I tell you what it was really like to live with her and the experiences and stories all the way through, it actually might make the most sense at the end of it all. And that's how I feel. Because now I did that personally. See, I couldn't have walked this walk without going through all of these process. You never know what you're doing. Like you're kind of building in the dark, I would say. And all of a sudden, it's just like everything makes the most sense for me to tell you the full picture because I was doing this work, really seriously in therapy. I was actually doing the work to try to figure out my childhood and what I was experiencing and why I feel certain ways. And it just like all this hard work. So it's like the saying I always say to you guys is like crawling through glass so others can walk in meadows. That's what this story needs to be. It doesn't just honor my family on top of it, but it shows like I want that to be the message is a positive takeaway. It's almost impossible. You have to pick through all of the BS and dig through manure to find, the one needle in this entire situation. But if I can help people and be understood and relatable and help you guys through something that you're going through, or just in general, give better perspective from the whole thing, that's a huge win for me. So I just have to say it. I am unbelievably grateful for this community. I can't believe when I look back at the things that have happened, and there's a lot of negative, but there's a lot of positive. And like high on my list of all things is this community, having a studio, having a community. It's like it's a huge deal. And I just want you guys to know when it came down to the moment, and I don't want you to think I'm trying to ask for credit. I just want you to understand that your boy is 10 toes on this. That there was a moment in where it was supposed to be basically stop doing YouTube in a sense, so we could focus more on the family story. Um, and when I actually was given that as an option, in a sense, like I could say that, okay, because obviously you guys know how many years I've tried to do right by my family and tell their story. But when it actually came down to it, I would never ever compromise because this community means too much to me. And I know we're helping other people, and people come in that are new, and maybe they just know the outside story. Maybe they know, and that's fine. That's what I understand. People know that story. I have no problem with that anymore. I used to hate it, and now I just understand that's what people see. I just hope we can help the, people feel safe in a community, and it's bigger than that whole story. And once I tell you the whole story, then it would make even more sense. And I think that that's why we're here. But I wouldn't be here. I'm not here by myself. Let's just put it that way. And I'm so grateful. And man, I guess as I'm sitting here looking at you guys' names and talking to you, it really just hits me how far in just a couple years we've come. I mean, there was a point, there was a point where I just didn't know what was going to happen. And then I'm not going to lie, I felt like I had a lot of air under my wings when we were doing our channel, in a sense of like, I knew what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. And then that stroke just, I mean, grounded me because everything just became like, don't have a stroke. That's been my in my back of my mind all the time. And almost just hijacked so much of like my other thought process. And then the brain fog that comes with that, and just that constant worry. And then you're thinking about, if I die, what would happen to all this stuff? And like, have I done enough? Have I helped enough people? Have I told my family story? Have I told my story? Have I done what I was put on this freaking earth to do? I know it sounds crazy, but when you're anywhere even near the realm of fear of death, even if it's not actually happening, like you're not actively dying, but you're in the realm of fear of death where you think you might die, I just felt like those questions is what sparked everything that's happened as of late. And I just thought about, what is this community to me? And it's a place where we can come and discuss and have real conversations. And that's why we started kind of jumping a little bit out of crime, just to see like where we can all just keep continuing the community. That's the fabric of this whole thing. It's the community. That is the whole entire thing, is us as a group. So that's why I've tried to make that the most important thing. But it's really important for two things I want to say, right? And I always say it like it's going to be the last time, but I just always feel that way. I always feel like if anything ever happened, I would hope that I said these things. Number one, your story is very important. It's your story, and don't let anybody come in here and try to take that from you. I mean, that is your God-given story. Not to say that God caused everything wrong in your life or whatever, but I'm just saying it's the most important thing you have. Like, what else do you really have? You don't even get to keep this body forever. Like this flesh and blood isn't even yours, it's rented. So what you really have is your soul and your story, right? And so those are things you have to put some time and understanding into. And your story is so powerful. You don't know who it's going to touch. I would never have imagined that I'd be sitting here having this conversation with you guys my entire life. I thought I was going to be in the NBA. So I thought I was going to be getting buckets, and I thought I was going to be, a fighter. And then I watched a guy get punched and his eye popped out his head and rolled on the ring. I said, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to fight. That's cool. I was going to be in the military. Like I've always had my own thoughts of how things were going to go. I never thought I'd be doing what we're doing. So just lets you know that you don't know where you're going to end up, but your story matters. My story is not more important than yours. Mine is just more public. I mean, that's really just the difference. The point being is that because it is public, I have to correct a lot of the wrongs. And I know that sounds like I'm trying to be Batman, but it's the truth. Like I can't tell you. Once you see the project, you would understand how much of what has been told to you is not even the truth. Or if it is, it's a very specific, you know, you know, very highlighted moment that's told to you about a bunch of people don't even know what they're talking about. There's just a bunch of randoms. So it is what it is. What did I take personally? Like Michael Jordan? Did I take it personally when they started talking about me or they started talking about my family and saying stuff about me and all this stuff and misinformation? Is that what you mean? Because 100%. 100%. I think it's really important you guys understand that though. If you were in my shoes, which I pray to God you never even have to experience anything like it, and I mean that out of love. But I think it's very important that you realize that people usually just really don't care about the main part of it. They want to know, um, you know, like they just want whatever's going to sell. They're the business. They're in the business of creating more business. So they could be news outlets, they could be whatever. I'm not throwing shots. I'm just saying in a general point, that's what gets on the front of things. That's what catches. And so obviously, filmmakers are very smart and they look around, they see what's going to continue to ride what's already been preset, which is the wave. And then they pick that and they ride that wave more and more and more and dig deep. And I'm not even trying to, I'm not even going to criticize that because it is part of it, but it's not, you're in, I said this the other day, maybe I sound corny, but you know how your phone zooms into like point to 3. I'm trying to take you to point 0.5. You got an iPhone, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm trying to give you the full view instead of a very singular, part of this story, which is usually just Lori. I mean, frick her, bro. There's nothing more you're gonna know from the outside, really. Once I tell you the experiences I've had, you've heard some of this stuff, but there's so much more I've never shared, and I just didn't know when you share it because I didn't want to just trauma dump in our channel. It's just not, unless it has a real lesson that I've learned or something like that. It's not just to give you spitball information, just throw it out there. Hey, Lori did this. It's just not like that. You know what I mean? But if you watch the Netflix one, it just simply is from very, very specific perspective. It's the case. And then it's a bunch of people who come in who were genuinely blacklisted. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to say names. There's people who I said, look, this person literally doesn't have any actual experience. I brought in firsthand experienced people because they can tell you that they saw it, that they lived it, that they breathed it. It was their life. They don't need to come in here for clout. And they went and got specific people who were on the list of they should not be here because they're not being genuine with you. That's the problem. That's the problem for me. It's like, dude, just don't pretend. I said this in the video about, the Matthiases, and when I kind of addressed that whole situation, I just wanted to say this, and this is a clear point. When you've suffered through something and you are at a place in your life, I cannot sit at the table with others who have been through things that I've never experienced. So just don't do the same back. The table that I'm at is not a table I asked to be at. But the thing is, I know who's sitting there and I know who should be there. And that's just the point. Other people at the table were there and you weren't. And I'm not, like I said, I've always strayed away from names, but it bothers me that the people who were not at the table are blowing trumpets. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you being so loud? You don't even I'm not saying you're not allowed to have perspective, but the problem is then they start having to fill the gaps in. Then they start lying. Then they start acting like they're more included than they were. And the worst part of it all, and I've said this before and I'll say it again because this matters to everyone, just so we're clear. By the way, this is so awesome. It's so good to see you. We love you too. But let me just say very clear that they're blowing trumpets and they're going out and being loud. And like the thing is, I know who experienced it. I experienced it my entire life firsthand. And so the people who have not had the trauma, you just don't get to sit here. I don't get to sit at other tables that I'm not at. That's not fair. And on top of that, you're accepting condolences for someone you didn't grieve. That's sick. That's wrong. You shouldn't be out here accepting condolences for somebody you did not grieve. I'm just going to say it. It's just how it is. It's sick. It's sad because that's the point. When you don't know who should be there, you just go out and you just pick people and you just bring them in trying to tell this story, but you're getting a crap story. You're getting the crap. I'm just going to say it. So again, I'm not specifically going at anybody. I'm not specifically going at the Matthiases. I'm just talking in general, is that this whole situation I have seen. Oh my gosh. You know what? We're going to get into it. I don't give a frick. I'm not going to say names. We're not going to get into a drama. I'm just going to say it because this is how our community has always been. So F it. I have seen the things behind the scenes. Okay. I feel like Cat Williams. Okay. You ever seen Cat Williams interview with Shannon Sharp? That's how I feel. I have seen things and heard things um, that I just know that are unfortunate. And I have kept everything in a bottle because I have always been the one to say, it's not my place to try to go out and start more wars. When you're in it, it's the last thing you want. There's other people who they don't have anything, but because they want to be at the table so bad, they're gonna just be as loud as they can, and they want to get into this place. You don't want to be at this table. This is a horrible place to be. I love you guys as my community more than anything in the world, but it's not even a scale of if I would rather have my family or a channel. I love our community and I wouldn't trade it for the world because that's not on the table. But I am saying that I would rather have my family than any. There's no like scale to that. And so to act as if you had to go through what I went through is not acceptable. And you cannot lie your way through it anymore. And they've been doing this for years. And I have just sat back and listened to these people and they go on their interviews and they cry. And I'm like, where were you? I can genuinely tell you were not around. So where is this coming from? But I watched when this situation this big happens, people come out of the woodworks. They hear the gong and they come flying up and they start acting like they're so involved. And I'm just like, I don't understand why you think it's acceptable because no one's checking you, right? We're all going through it and it's like this big mess and everybody's mad at each other for this reason. And they're mad at you because you're talking about it. Some people are mad at me because I talk about it on YouTube. Oh, you're just trying to make money off of your siblings. And you're just like, shut the fuck up. No, I'm not. You don't even know the half of it. You don't know what it's actually like in the background. You're speaking on something that you see at face value. I know the whole freaking circle. So don't play with me, brother. I fucking know what's going on in the background. You don't know what kind of money's being thrown in the back. I don't accept that money. You know why? Because this shit is my real life. Everyone can turn their TV off and I won't be able to. I go to sleep and wake up in that life. I'm not trying to sound tough and I'm not trying to be anything more than just honest with you guys. But what I am telling you is I have dreamed my family. I have dreamed this. I've woken up in the reality of it. There's so much I couldn't even ever escape it in my sleep because I'd go to sleep and all I can see is all of my family right there. And they're right. There's always something in my dream where they're right next to me or I'm hugging them. I wake up and that's not real. Or I fall asleep and my mom's in my dream and I'm screaming and cussing her out. And I wake up and that wasn't real. Right. And then you call your mom and ask her what happened. She fucking lies about your sister and tells you all these lies and makes your sister the villain when I gave her an open opportunity to tell me what happens. Just don't ever sit in the seat and act like you should be here. It's sick. There's something wrong with you. You obviously don't have a life. And that's a problem for me because I will never put someone on that is out here pulling in sympathy. This is what I mean by being a victim. Why would you want to be a victim here? I'm not even trying to be a victim. I don't want to be the victim because Tylee, JJ, and Charles and Tammy, they're the victims. They were killed. Brandon was attempted at. That never happened to me. I just have to live with the results of it. But don't sit out here crying out here, acting like you care when you weren't around and all of a sudden you care so much. It would be more honorable for people to come out and just be honest about their position. That would be more honorable. Just say how it is. I mean, I would honestly have a ton of respect for you if you sat there and just said, I wasn't that involved. I wish I would have. This broke my heart. Like that approach is honest, but all of them are not honest. They're not honest. And they're going to sit here and they're going to talk about it forever. And they're going to accept condolences as if they went through it. I just want to say that now to anybody. That's not okay. You can feel for something, but there's a difference between trying to sit at the table that you should not be at and then feeling something. We all know what that feels like to have genuine sympathy and empathy for a person. You know what I mean? We know that feeling. You guys are here because of that. I know you know that. There's a real connection there. What I'm saying is none of you try to run out in the world and put on this huge show that you are so in it and you have all this inside stuff and this is so effective. It's like, shut up. I can see you in the background. I see how you move. You think people don't tell me stuff? I don't even go looking for it. I am just told things. I don't want to have that drama. And my family's just this subject of like, all this stuff, but then these people just jump in here and they just act like they care. And then, you have the whole media crowd and just breathe it in. And then the second it's, over, it's just done, right? No, just over. That's it. Bye-bye. We'll talk about that if it hits um higher on my care list, or if people will watch it. We'll make sure it's clickable. It's like, man, you're all missing it. And the media part, that's just what they do. I don't think it's necessarily I'm not trying to take shots and say, you know, it's just what it is. This is how it works. And there's a positive side of media. We know that. But it's the people, man. Don't you have any like, you have no shame? You have no shame to sit here and just pick at it like a vulture. Like, you're not even providing any good context, by the way. You're not providing anybody any help. You're not coming in here and trying to make things better. You're just talking for whatever reason you want to talk about it, because people watch it. I don't know. I honestly don't understand. I've tried to approach this thing with a lot of caution. I can honestly say I know so much, and obviously I've never shared that. And that's just not my personality. It's not my heart to share everything about everybody. Even with Lori, there's a mountain of things you guys don't know that I don't think are relevant because they don't have a lesson behind them. And that's the point. It's not just to give you guys random tidbits of information. My story that you guys do know is just, I mean, I don't want to try to sound dramatic, but it's a fraction of my experience across my entire life. And I realized when you actually like take the villain and you realize your mom's the villain, like it really hits you that that's your reality. And this happened way before this moment. And it wasn't just this moment, but it was this build up all the way through and all these different things. None of you had to do that. You know why? Tylee's the only one that can talk about that as a child. Charles was her husband. He had to experience it. And then JJ was obviously very little, but it was very different I had that perspective the whole time growing up. And so I saw Tylee be born and come into our lives. And obviously I don't know everything that Tylee went through, and I'm not going to ever pretend that I do. She went through a lot. She went through hell. And I want to tell her story from my perspective and other people's so you can see who she was. That's the whole point. And then everybody else the same way. But outside of that, then it just like those people on the outside got really loud. And I'm like, I can sit here and be like, I just don't remember you being there. I haven't heard from those people ever directly, by the way, ever. So it's interesting. It's interesting that they'll go out and run their mouth, but they've never actually even tried to ever be a part of this stuff. Just don't try to show up. It's so simple. It's not even to be disrespectful to anybody. It's just simple. Just don't put yourself in a position you're not in. You don't know what it's like to suffer like this. And I would expect the same thing. I can't sit here and speak on anybody's perspectives that I haven't experienced myself. That's not fair. I've never been at their table, and I've never experienced that. I've never had to eat from their plate. I've never walked in their shoes. So it's pretty ridiculous. I can give you my opinion, but I would never jump in on a bandwagon way and just start talking about it as if it just bothers me so much. And I'm like, where have you been? It's so interesting when you came in. You know what? I'm going to out my dad for the first time. If you're watching this, you're going to hear it. My biological father was an absent person. I never met my biological father. To this day, have never met my biological father. And Charles was my father. He was my dad. And I always would look at him that way because, I had the longest time with him, but he was my dad. I called him my dad from a very early age. And, we went through what we went through. He was my father. But my biological father showed up and texted me out of nowhere, not a word. I'm 23, 22 years old. He pops in and he goes, "Hey, I'm always here for you." The fuck you are? I've never met you in my life, homie. And you are now here when it's fire. I got your back. No, you do not. Do not play with me. Even if your intentions were good, I can't trust you because you came in at the wrong time. And I'm not the only one that's dealt with this kind of thing with their biological family. So I'm just going to say it because I'm not the only one. But I put that out there to say this. It's weird because when stuff like this happens, people come flying. It's like watching fire, and they come flying. And my problem simply is this. I do not I know the whole thing. And so to know you were not there and you did not experience it and you did not have our backs and you were not part of it. I just cannot bring you to the table and listen to you talk about the table. That's just that simple. I've never been you know, an underwater basket weaver. I've never done a million things, so I can't speak on that. I can give you my opinion, but I can't sit there and talk about it. So, I just want to bring you that example up because, you know, people just are just interesting. And they're human beings. We're all flawed. There's a lot of people who have issues. I get that. I'm not trying to throw people under the bus. But my point is like you just show up and then you're just like you're a blip. You're a blip in time. And I just don't want to hear someone come in here and then just jump in and jump on it and act as if it is that what it is. You know what I mean? I just think that's ridiculous. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, it's unfortunate because you guys have to understand this happened on this happened for so many people because you have all of Charles's family and what they're experiencing and what they're going through, and the same thing's happening to them, right? Because everybody sees this. I had people tell me, Colby, I was in your ward when you were a little kid. I'm like, I'm just not even trying to be disrespectful. I think you're so kind. I don't remember that, but that's very sweet of you. The problem is I was being reached out to by everybody for a lot of other bad reasons. People just, I've had people, and I'm just going to say this just so we're all clear because I love you guys. I just want to have a healthy boundary from in general. But I've had people walk up to me and go, so when's the last time you talked to Lori? What'd she say? Excuse me? I don't remember ever opening the door for you and I to have that conversation. I've never met you. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, I don't think it's coming from a bad place, but just to understand, like, I'm not just going to sit there and have a conversation with the last time I talked to my mom. It's like, and you guys watched it. So it's not even like it's some secret. I mean, I put it out there for people that time, but before that was just constant, like, what do you think about your mom or this and that? It's like, I don't know how much more clear I've been. I'm not a fan. How about that? I think she's nuts. And I think that she's not as nuts as people say she is. And I think that she's actually covertly nuts. And I think that she's actually calculated. And I think that she's put herself in a delusion so she doesn't have to face the reality of her life. That's what I think. It's not anything I've ever hid from you guys. But that's the problem. It's perspectives and what people see and how they interact with the story and this and that. I'm like, oh my gosh, shut up. Just shut up. I just feel it is a responsibility for so many reasons that I feel like it needs to be told. And it's been on my heart for years. This is years. I feel like I'm on just like my heart's just on fire for this because I've tried to figure out how do you do this? How do you tell this whole story? It's so complicated. People don't really know what it's like. Do you try to debunk things like because there's so much misinformation that people spread? But like, no, that's not the story. I'm not here to try to fix rumors. That's ridiculous. That's a waste of our breath. Telling Tylee and JJ's story from the best place I can, the best way I can tell Charles's story, and doing my family some justice in that way, but tell the whole scope and bring in all these people. That's the best way to combat it because I'm just going to say this clearly. If you are not in the documentary, there's a reason. So I don't want to hear you're complaining. If you're not there, it's not a disrespectful move towards you. It's that you don't have firsthand account reasoning to sit there and speak at the table. I'm just going to say it like that. That's all I want people to know because people are going to criticize whatever I put out. If I put out a documentary about my family, it's going to be criticized and people are going to say what they want. And that's okay. I'm putting it out online. It is subjected to people's opinions. That's okay. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's okay too. I can take that. I just know I'm going to try to do the best I can to tell their story that's never been told. And guess what? Part of that story is the Lori story you don't know either because that's what's interlocked. It's all interwoven. It's not just one person. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to look at it like in a movie, you have a main character. I mean, what we've done is we've platformed a main character, Lori. She's just above the whole everyone. And she's not that interesting. Just being honest with you, she's not that interesting. It's not even that complicated. But once I actually run you through it, you'd understand more and you get the most information you've ever had. Let's put it that way. But it's not Lori centric. That's the point. It's the whole story. That's the point. So that's what I've noticed is I've always thought, okay, this could be told a different way. And that's my love of filmmaking, but that's my love of storytelling. It's all of it is just kind of like things I already naturally love easily go with what I want to do in life too. So God has blessed me in that way. So I really hope we get to that point and then do that. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was not a fan of that. That was not something we discussed. You guys know I feel like I'm a pretty good sport, and I'm not saying that to puff my chest or anything. I just think that um, I've gotten a lot more boundaried lately. Like I'm starting to really see my worth, and so I'm starting to like really just say, you know what, I'm not going to be rude, but it's not rude for me to say I don't like that. I can have my feelings, and I'm not going to, attack anybody or try to hurt anybody's feelings. But that was not a great moment. I mean, he told me right before, and then we went on, and I was like, just whatever, just read it. I don't care. But like, I couldn't care less what she was trying to say. I think the thing is like in that moment, I was trying to think of like what she meant, and that was the only thing that could come to my mind is that she's always trying to speak to me through scripture to try to prove her point. And you guys don't even know how much scripture stuff she's tried to say that she is like literally biblical. Like she is like a biblical figure. Like she's at that point, and it's pure blasphemy. You guys know I'm Christian, so I don't like that. I don't know what you classify her as other than blasphemous. Um, she still claims to kind of be LDS. Like, I don't know, but she's not. She's obviously like in another realm of religion or whatever you want to call that. It's just possessed. You guys want to know what possession looks like? That's it. And if you could even see some of the comparison to where she was and how much worse it got so quickly, such an accelerated amount of time where she went from like one way to another. Um, that's the part that I think gets everybody that knew her. It's like, what the hell? Like what happened? And then you have what's interesting is like when I tell this story, a lot of the puzzle pieces are going to finally all kind of put together. And the crazy thing is a lot of times people come in, like I've said before, and you get this puzzle because it's over and everybody kind of put this stuff together, and then they hand you the puzzle, and some people will go, how did you not notice that? You didn't notice that this was going on? I'm like, dude, you have the whole puzzle. I was walking it in real time. No, I did not see everything I see now. Of course not. It'd be very different if I had that perspective now. Back then it would have changed everything, but no one had that perspective. And so that's the part I want to share. And I'm willing to address the parts in where there was criticism and where people had misunderstandings. And like I told you, I've had my own feelings of I wish I did that. And then I got to a point in therapy in life where you say the what ifs will never change anything. Feeling guilty for the rest of your life of what if I wish I would have paid more attention to my mom. Right. Even though I'm working and I have a brand new baby, I don't live with her and I don't see her. She moved out of the state. I'm like, I should have been there and I should have been paying attention to her and what she was saying. It's like, no, bro, there's nothing you could have done. And that kind of acceptance has to get to that point because people spend their whole lives like, I should have done this. And it just haunts you for the rest of your life. And at some point, you have to let it go. You have to let it go. You have to move on because it doesn't serve you or anyone. And you're actually not doing anything better for yourself by punishing yourself. That doesn't make any difference. You could live the rest of your life happy or not. The God's your judge. You don't need to sit there and try to carry something. That's the whole point of like moving forward. You have to do that. You have to. So I just want to say that out loud. No, we're not stopping our lives. There's nothing stopping this train. We're not stopping our lives. We're just I'm moving out of this house. The studio is going to be gone. It's going to be a new studio. It's going to be fun. I just share this stuff with you guys because what else could I possibly do with it? It's so bad. It's so horrible. It's so life-changing. And if there's nothing good that you can share with someone else that you've learned, it's like, it's just, what was it for? And I know that sounds stupid, but you have to do something good with it. In my personal opinion, you have to. You have to just try to do something positive because it's just so bad. It's so bad. And it got so much worse. And I told you, I've lived in like two different perspectives for such a long time because I never wanted to hear that stuff. To listen to Ray to listen to Ray tell me, basically not me, but to the court, the firsthand account of what he did and how he dug my literal siblings out of the ground and he hand dug my sister out of the ground. Um, it was the hardest thing ever. And then at the same time, it gave me another level of respect, obviously, because you just don't know what you don't know until you hear something like that. Two, it made me want to honor him and everyone else who participated and give them their flowers. And it just changes you. And like at the end of the day, I could run from that information for the rest of my life. I could have avoided it. I could have spent the rest of my life never hearing those trials, and I probably would think I'm better off. And I don't know why. Just felt like I just needed to face it. And I just wanted to do I wanted it. I wanted to just I'm weird like this, but I say this a lot, especially lately. I'm like, when something is so bad and you can't get out of it. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie 127 Hours, but it's about a real story. It's a spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but it's a very well-known story. There's a guy in Utah who was hiking. He fell down. His arm got stuck in a rock, and he's stuck for days. He can't get out. His arm's stuck. So he literally, I'm not going to say it because YouTube's so sensitive, but he takes his arm off himself with like a pocket knife. It's insane. And I am the type of person that tries to say, rip the band-aid off. And in this case, it's just one of those things. At some point, the only freedom you have is to do the hardest thing ever. And it's just like the best example I could possibly give because I say it a lot. It's like I'm just like sometimes some things are just so gruesome and so hard that you just have to do it, and it's gonna hurt and it's gonna suck. And if you accept that before you start, I don't know. It just do it. And then guess what? He loses his arm, but he's free and he gets out of there. You see what I'm saying? So like, yeah, it cost you a literal arm, but you got out of that. And that's the thing. It's like God's doing that in my life. And it just doesn't feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't feel good ever. It never feels like I oh man, I really like I had that idea. Like, okay, once she's convicted and once this has happened, and then I can do it's like you have this idea in your head of how it looks and what it should be like. And then you realize it's nothing like that. And then reality is reality. And then it just you sit with it and it's still just as present as it was. And you just try to work through it. That's all you can do. But it's not fun. Just put it that way. So sometimes you got to do 127 hours and you just have to do the hardest thing and you just have to face it. You have to accept the situation and you have to, lose a part of yourself. And then the rest of you keep going. And that's how this situation has been for me. I just feel like I had to face it at some point or my whole life would be avoidance. And then if I avoided it my whole life, I'd still be curious. I still have those questions. I still want to know, but I would tell you, I don't want to know, but I want to know. It's just this torture, just torture. So we kind of just ripped the band-aid off. That's it. He's a great man. It goes past anything to try to like, he's funny. He's a great person and everything, but um, I just don't feel like they just did their jobs. I don't feel like he just did his job. There was so much love there, and I think they get lost in the shuffle a lot of times. I think that the whole entire department gets lost in the shuffle because they cared so much about this stuff, and they're human beings. They feel it, they see it, they're facing it at its worst, and they just kind of like they're just kind of tossed off. I don't want to say that. I don't think anybody does it on purpose, but they're just like they have a love and a care, and they want to. Um, they want that justice and they care just as much about it. But obviously they know they're not family. And so like it's just that's a hard position to be in because they care a lot. And that's all I'll say. They really their heart is there and they deserve a lot of recognition. But it's a hard situation because you have to remember how long this whole process has taken, you know? So yep, I know. And I hope I say that in an encouraging way too, because it is hard. It's the scariest thing ever. It's like there's just a moment in your life where you just have to freaking do something. You just have to do the hard thing. And it never feels good in the moment. You know what I mean? And I think it's because we've been so cultured into movies and stuff to believe that there's this ride off into the sunset, or that once you get out of there, you're going to be, have that moment where you feel good. It's like sometimes that just doesn't come, and that's okay. Like overall, though, your life will be better, right? So it is truly just that you either just do what you can and you move on and you live with the result of what you had to break away from, or you sit there and die with the whole body. You just die, right? It's really like sometimes life gets that level of extreme, and you just have to decide what you're gonna do, if you're gonna give up or not. It's like that simple, and it's hard. It's very hard. And so I just want to encourage all of you guys to, just know you have a community and just don't feel like you're alone. But I think for me, I'll just say this in kind of in closing too, but I just felt like my entire life was so, what's the word? It was just so like ripped, everything about it. Cause obviously I lost my family and they were ripped away from me. And then I got, ripped into the tidal wave of whatever came because of Lori. And it's easy to just point the finger at Lori and just say, F you, you ruined everyone's life. You're the worst. Just point the like it's literally the most logical thing to just point at Lori and say it's your fault. And then I don't know when this was, but I had an epiphany. I know it's epiphany. It's from The Office. My epiphany was this. I could blame Lori for the rest of my life in a very justified way. I could say, Lori, you caused every bit of damage and this and that, until I realize that that's not going to make me feel better. That's not going to get me better. It's not going to change my mentality. It's not going to heal my heart. It's not going to bring my siblings back. It's not going to bring my dad back. It's not going to do anything. It does nothing. It simply just gives me somebody to blame instead of myself. I don't blame myself anymore for what happened. I did because I thought it was my responsibility to save my siblings. And you heard even in my phone call with Lori, I was like telling her I would have taken the kids. And she's like, well, where were you? And they were there. I'm like, I didn't have a chance. What do you mean? Like, but I blame myself because like I'm the older brother. I'm the adult. I should have protected them. I should have known. I should have smelled it. I should have had a sixth sense that they were in trouble like they do in movies. I should have effing knew that they were in trouble. I should have paid attention. And it's like, it all happened so fast. If you really look at the timeline, it happened so fast. It was a blip. It happened instantly. They moved and they killed Tylee instantly. They killed JJ a few weeks later. I mean, I didn't know that, but that's my point is like when you actually see it in full context, it's insane. And I blamed myself for that. I'm like, I didn't protect my siblings. I didn't protect my dad. I didn't talk to my dad. I should have talked to him. And maybe if he would have told me what was going on, you just go down the what if and you just spend your whole life thinking if I would have. You can't change your past. You can't change it. I don't care how long you blame yourself for something. You can't change what happened. And you might have made a mistake, but if you sit the rest of your life in that mistake, do you think that that serves you at all? No. It does nothing but hurt you. You are now drinking the poison and just regurgitating and drinking it back again. That's what unforgiveness is too. People were like, how could you forgive someone? I could never forgive your mom if she did for what she did. And I'm not even her family. It's like, okay, it has nothing to do with her. God deals with her. I forgive her for me. And it's a process. I have to re-forgive because I'm an imperfect person. And I get angry at her again. And I get frustrated with her all over again. I have to go back and say, I'm not going to allow her to dictate my daily life. She's ruined my life long enough. It is true, but she didn't ruin my life to the point where I have no control. I'm not a victim of Lori. She doesn't get to do that to me. She doesn't get to ruin me as a father. I do a lot of stuff in spite of her. And that's kind of the motivating factor. I want to be a lot different than she was. And so I try to be a dad that I never had. And I love my dad, Charles, but obviously, like I told you, there's things you always like would do. And my main example was my mom, because my dad was out working. He was providing for our family. So like my main parent figure that had like a parenting role to me was my mother. And I do so much of what I do on the opposite. It's not to prove her wrong. It's just that like I can see the wrongs in the positions I was put in, that Tylee was put in. And I say, I'm going to just do things different for my kids. I want them to be prepared for life. I want them to walk out of this door knowing they have someone to call and really lean on, but I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to help you learn how to climb up the mountain. I'm going to teach you the skills you need so you can go out and make decisions for yourself, and that you go in and you pray. I'll pray with you, but I want you to say the prayer to God. You trust God, you find your way. That is so invaluable. We just lost that. I swear. Like, we're not in that position anymore where people really want the best for each other anymore. I'm not saying parents, but you know what I mean? Like, it's hard, and it's hard. And again, I know I'm not the only one that has a mom. Like, yeah, my mom is, on a scale wise, is like obviously up there amongst the 0.1% of the worst. But I mean, I know a lot of what I experienced with her is not just something. I've actually met people who have told me that their mom was a lot like Lori, in different ways, or just like, can really understand. I had a long conversation with someone who had a mom who had their whole family had a really deep, end of the world, ideology. And there's such an understanding. Like, when someone starts telling me what their experience is, it's almost like instantaneous understanding of one another. Cause you grow up in this like doom. You just grow up with anxiety. You're like, it's all over. My life's over. It's going to end. There's no point. And it's like your parents reinforcing that, stuff like that. So, I would like to say this. I love that. I want you to eat it, but not on my table. Yeah, go find your own table. Go find your own little table. Go take all of your little friends that you're all so grieving, fake grieving over, and take all of your asses and get the hell on. You're not invited. Sorry. You don't get to do that. That's what I say to those people. And they know who they are. This is not something to just throw shade. It's if they're watching and they're listening, they know in their spirit who you are. So let's just not even pretend that I'm throwing strays. I'm just not going to say names because I don't think that that's worth it. And I'm not trying to cause people to get angry at others. It is just so simple that it's just, I've said that from the beginning. Do not pretend to be at the table, because it's not a fun table. It's not a place anybody chose to be. And now you see it from the outside. And because you're not in that pain, you want to sit there because you think it gains something. It's not a gain. It's a loss. It's a lot of loss. And it's not fun. It's like, it's literally the opposite. It's horrible. And you would rather not be there. I'll just put it out there. I forgot what the other part was, to be honest with you. That's what happens in your ADHD. But also, I don't look to start these problems and beefs. That's just not my thing. You guys don't even know my history of movies. I know too much about chick flicks. I know too much about these quotes. My family did grow up using quotes, and that's what effed me up. When I heard their little group using movie quotes, remember I told you every single one of those quotes, they use all these movie quotes we all used to say in our like family as code for their horrible, horrendous, if a cop is listening. That whole little gatherer group was using all these movie quotes. So I was like, you just ruined everything, don't you? You just can't leave anything on the table. You have to ruin movies for me. You have to ruin everything. So, I mean, it's not that it's all ruined, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, you know it, brother. There's nothing like when you get a dose of it live. It just happens. Somebody says something and I just forget. I forget what I was talking about. Wow, that was like a therapy session. I feel like we haven't been on in a while, and we just took it to another realm. But you guys know, I really do feel like I have created a trust with our community, and I would rather share what I've experienced with you than keep it bottled up and try to have this superficial, YouTube channel that just talks about all this stuff. It's like, I just like to have I feel like we're very open in that way. It's like, we get to talk about anything we want. That's how it should be, and I just felt like you know what? We're just going to do therapy right now. Just tell you exactly what I think and feel. When we were doing crime, it was really important to me because I want to be an advocate for others. I see other people going through certain things, and I just want to reach out so badly and just like help them, because there's media things you have to understand. Yeah, this is a great ending. But there's people that I still want to do that for. None of that has ever changed. I just think that when I was going through it and it was just so much crime back to back to back, and I was seeing the real pain, because I know that pain, like with Corey Richard's kids was one of the main ones. When I saw that situation and I knew that they lost their mom and their dad, and their mom did it. I mean, I literally know what that feels like. And obviously in different circumstances, but it's like they're younger than me. Like, there's just so much obviously that's different. But it hurts. Like crime is such a hard thing to even ever discuss in general. But the way that, you know, I was experiencing it, it was just so real, and it just know how that feels. So it just did feel like it was too heavy to just solely focus on. And then, you're always thinking about what you can do, um what you can do to try to, like, I always think of what can I do that can be helpful, because I think I love laughing, I love movies, you guys know I love working out. Like I have all these other parts of me that I love, but I feel like this is just I feel like this channel was always just my heart plopped on the table, I guess. If I was, it'd be the worst makeup you've ever seen, the hookah of everything, but I'm not trying to act like I'm in competition with people. I'm not. I say that because this is exactly what I needed. And I feel like it's funny. I inadvertently a lot of times try to fill gaps that I realize I would have needed or wanted. And I hope that it gives that next person that boost and that love. That's it. Just so you guys know, you feel have love, have a community, and go from there. Live your life. Yeah, I know that's always been in my heart. Because people don't know, like, when you experience it, you've crawled through the glass, and so now it's time to help the other person. And I've always thought that the media company that I want that to be a part of it, is like go in and help people who are going through high level media and just help them understand what they're doing before they go and make decisions. Like if you're going to talk to this person, let's have these types of conversations. You don't know what you don't know. Here's what I will say, and this is the best way I can help anybody right now. If you're ever put in a position where the media picks you up and it turns into this wildfire, the best thing I could say is you don't understand that they are a business, and they're going to do your story, and they're going to say things and do it like a business. And so you need to understand it's your 100% personal life, and it's their 100% business. So those two things don't really go together. And so because of that, you have to be very careful, because a lot of times the best thing they could get is for you to say something or push you, and they push you. They do. And I was just like such a people pleaser. I've had to work really hard to not be a people pleaser. But I was so like, okay, whatever, like you crossed all the boundaries, but I'll just answer your question because I'm uncomfortable and I just want to get out of here. So that's kind of like how I approach that stuff. But they always took it to another realm. It's, well, tell us about all these other things that your mom did. Let's talk about her. Let's talk about you. Like, well, I heard this about you. And it's like, that's not why we're here. That's not what you said before. And I don't appreciate that. And so when I made the channel and then the podcast, I just wanted to take all of those bad things that I thought were happening and just flip it over and just start doing it differently. So I just try to give people an understanding of how this works. But you just have to understand that they have an agenda, and they're a business, and they're trying to sell something to the masses. And it's unfortunate because without them, we wouldn't really know too much. I mean, that's the problem, is like the stuff wouldn't be coming to us. But it's sad to see it the way that it actually is. It's just more of a business, and it's about money, and it's about what's, I don't know. It's just about what they want to get out of it. You know what I mean? So that's how it always has been. I guess I don't know. It's sad. It's sad because I see people who are going through hardship being exploited more, and then criticized, and put into the masses, and then criticized. You know what I mean? I can't even tell you the amount of misinformation that's out there. If we ever did a series, I would probably cry laugh at some of the stuff that was out there, because it's so stupid. I can't even wrap my head around it. Do you know that one of the main theories, okay, I am going to say one because it's off the top of my head right now. One of the main theories is that okay, and I don't ever say this as a joke, but the notion is so ridiculous, is what's funny. But they were doing a theory that said that I was in Idaho, and Colby am the one who tried to initially attempt at shooting at Tammy. Just want to put that out there. That is the level we're at. I am in Arizona, had never even been there, didn't even know. And when everybody found out they're in Idaho, their theory was it was me. And then, oh, by the way, those Venmos, that was Lori paying me hush money So I wouldn't say anything to the public. Lori was just giving me that little bit of money just so I wouldn't talk, because I really wanted to protect my criminal murderer mother. That's who I wanted to protect. And yeah, a couple $100 a month was going to keep me and keep my mouth shut. That's the type of shit I was dealing with on top of it all. That's the tip of the iceberg. That's the Titanic would go down if I showed you the iceberg. It's ridiculous. Like, we're at a point where it's like people really were catching this stuff because there's so much misinformation and it's something that's so big. And then I don't know how that happens. Like, I don't know if one person says it and it just catches it, or maybe a channel kind of plays around with it. I don't know. But I was a suspect in the general public for a long time. And then I'm the sketchy guy and I'm making these, plea videos to save my own ass. And I'm working with the government and I'm a plane. I'm like, what? What is going on? What the hell is wrong with you guys? Like, we're at level, what the hell? I'm over here suffering, crying, going through all these other health things I had never experienced in my life. Don't even know where my siblings are. And you're out here just theorizing. And it's the type of theories that I see the Savannah's families going through. It's like, it's Savannah, that's her behind the mask. It's like, you're so fucking dumb. It's so hurtful to put her in the part of doing the horrible act. That's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Oh yeah. So I don't know if you guys know this. I actually have a picture of this. A huge network. I want to say, I don't even remember. I have the picture, so I can prove this. They put on their actual article, it was an article about Chad and Lori, and they put Kelsey and I's photo at Disney World for when we had gotten married. So back in 2018. And they said, like, the identifying thumbnail was me and Kelsey as Chad and Lori. And they just went in the comments because that's the thumbnail of this huge news organization. It's me and Kelsey on our honeymoon. And now people look at them there at Disney World while their kids are missing and they deserve to go to fucking hell and they need to die. And look at these ugly. It's like, yeah, it must be NBC. Yep. It is what it is. I don't understand how you mess up. You're a news organization that put my face and Kelsey's face in place of the people who are the murderers. And I don't remember. I think that article was before the murder. So they were just being like, they were the suspects. But the point is, people don't know. That's what I try to say to all of you guys about these stories. If you don't know the inside information, whatever you hear from these big organizations, there's no fact checking. How am I supposed to know that that's not who they are? So at the end of the day, they're in the comments, that just the Facebook post, and it's just ripping. They're at Disney World. Look at that ugly. They went at Kelsey, her looks. They went at my looks. They're thinking that we're them and we're the face of the thumbnail, meaning like when you click on the article, it had our face for a fat minute. Then I think they fixed it, but they never fixed the actual link to the thing. So if you click the link, you could go to the article and the picture was changed, but they couldn't fix the thumbnail. So it's still there. It is our picture from, I'm like, when you went onto Facebook, right? Or you looked it up, it would have said from my Facebook or Kelsey's, which has our names. And I don't understand how somebody missed that. I'm just going to be honest with you. How did you not notice the name? Did you not pay attention? Do you think that I had them as my profile picture or in my realm of profile pictures, or like whatever reason they got access to it? But that's my point. There's misinformation in the documentaries you're watching. There's misinformation, little things. They put Adam on Netflix as my dad. It's clear as day Adam. And they told everybody in the world that there's a photo with Adam holding me with my mom, and it's Adam, my uncle. And they said Colby's father and Lori and Colby. That's my uncle. Just my point is, some of the stuff is really small like that, and then there's really big stuff that's like really important. Dates are wrong. Information's wrong. Names are wrong. People are lying. I don't know why they are given a platform. Liars are not supposed to have a platform to lie. Let's just be honest. But it's ridiculous. Yeah, you guys, we really turned this into therapy. I guess I've been holding this all in for the last couple of weeks. So that is what it is. But it's ridiculous how much stuff gets put out there, and then you see it from a big news organization. I'm not saying they're not human beings, but I am saying that that's the problem is nobody knows the difference. And so until it all gets finally cleared through, there's so many years of me getting so much stray catching so many strays off of everything. And then I started the YouTube channel, and then you start catching strays on your intentions, and if you're a grifter and a money grabber and all this. I'm like, bro, if you even knew the fraction of anything, it would just change your perspective. That's it. And it's not my place to try to fix everybody's narrative. You can have whatever opinion you want about me. That's okay. That's fine. So it is what it is. Yeah, Uncle Daddy Adam. It's like, how, come on, bro. You can easily fact check a lot of that. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to fact check it. So I just say all of that because it all goes into the overall reasoning why we have a community. It all started here, and I'm not going to say the word it ends here, but the big thing that comes next for me is the project, but the community is still going to continue. We're still going to do this in a new studio. Yeah, I know. I did not expect us to do this. But that's the point. I have let this stuff go over time, and it bothers me in the moment to bring it back up, but it used to haunt me, and now it's like, whatever, bro, whatever. The point is, I created this for this exact reason, because I need you guys to understand, it's okay to vent this stuff out. You need to. This is why some people have therapists, they just vent. They just need to say it. It almost is like self regulation to just talk it out through the way. Maybe we'll do a little Colby's corner of confessions or something. I know, that's what I'm saying. When you put out misinformation, I just don't understand. Like, when you're a really big organization, you have to be, if you don't know, I just wouldn't put it in there. That's all I'm saying. It's like, it's very easy to fact check certain things. And I think you're putting out misinformation, and now nobody knows the difference. Like, and again, this is how so much happened. But you have to remember, when this case started, it was, Facebook was buzzing, Reddit was buzzing, every social media was buzzing. So it wasn't just main media. It was everybody throwing their hand in. And when that happens, it's impossible to try to clear all that stuff up. But I'm just like watching this, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going, what are you talking? Like, that never happened. That never happened. That happened, and you're telling it wrong. You have the wrong dates, the wrong time, the wrong pictures, the wrong people. They're lying their asses off right now on your platform to the world. It's like, it's just like, I guess I got to do it myself. I guess that's the only way to do it. And I don't say that to sound arrogant. It's just like, I just want you guys to try to understand what it would be like to watch people tell your life story, because it's not just Lori, and it's not just Tylee, it's not just me, it's not just Charles, it's not just JJ, it's not just others. We all lived. And so to know you had that perspective and know the things that happened and watch everybody else talk about it like they knew, just shut up. What are you talking about? You don't even know what you're saying. And then they get creative. They call it creative. Please, somebody help me with this. There's a word for it. Please, Colby, you just pull it out of your butt right now, please. What is the word? Creative, not freedom, liberty. Creative liberty. They take creative liberty with a real story because they have to fill in certain time gaps. And so they genuinely just give themselves the freedom to just say, well, this happened here, and it just rolls better. It just feels better because it's a production. That's not the problem. That's the problem. Oh, you're going to get it. I did see, I think Roxy asked, how can you help? You guys have helped. I'm trying to get the word out. Number one. That's the number one thing, is I'm trying to get the word out, because again, we are crowdfunding, and that is not an easy thing to do. I understand that there is, it's just different. It's a type of project that's just from the people and then back to the people. And so, with the documentary, I'd really, like I said, I have it mapped out. It's ready to go. We're at certain thresholds. And like I said, I'm going to share every single one of those. A lot of people, if you saw yesterday, there's a post, I'll repost it again. There's a tiers list. So if you have donated, there's going to be a message sent to you on the GoFundMe, and I'm going to tell you the tier, and then I'm going to connect you through that. And then lastly, at this point, it's really just trying to get it out there. And so we're trying to let people know it's happening. And for the people who want to see it, I think that's what I ask for is if you are interested, anything you can do helps, even if you just share it. And that way other people can even put in $1 because that dollar goes towards those things that I went through. And so you have the equipment cost, and then you have mostly like the during the production, and then the post production, which is the editing side. That's like the main thing that happens really. Cause obviously I'm going to do all the interviews, have all that stuff, but it's really important to make sure it's obviously put together for you. And then we're going to do hopefully a big premiere, even if it's I want to do a real premiere, like a real premiere for people who can come to it. And then outside of that, we're going to do a pre-premiere for everybody online. So people who have donated on those tiers, they're going to watch it before it even drops, and then it's going to drop for everybody else. So it's really important. Oh, 100%. I could sit here and tell you there's a lot of stuff I could get on a lot of stuff for, because it's literal just lies and complete lies from hell that have been just complete, and then they got taken. So that's the problem. That's what the definition of the defamation is, like defamation of character. And it's real, and it was out there, and it's a lot of people have picked up on it. And so it's unfortunate. I think because I was going through it, and this is why I want there to be a lot more context of like what it was like going through it in the time. How do I explain this the way I want to? The main thing is so overwhelming that it almost like every hit under that just feels like you're being chopped at slowly, but like it's just there's so much pain at the top level that everything around that it seems so much less significant. So like I'll just say, think about the worst pain you've ever experienced in your life. That little headache isn't going to feel anything like that. Is that the best way I could possibly put it out there for you? Like imagine the worst pain you've ever been in, and then imagine getting a cut on your leg or it's something a little bit worse. But it's like it's almost like because I'm going through the worst pain and because this is happening, all these other things are almost insignificant. And you're so worn down and exhausted and broken and emotionally broken. It's just so much. Like I was just, man, I wasn't even walking or crawling through that time, man. I don't even know how to explain that. I didn't make it through that time. I don't even know how I'm here. I'm just being 1000% honest with you. I can't even look back and say, yeah, I walked through that with full strength. No, the frick, I did not. I was dragged. Like God dragged me through that. And I don't even know how I made it through, to be honest with you. And that's why I share my story now, because you guys know this happened over a really big period of time. And like, obviously we just started the channel like 2 years ago. And so I'm in a completely different place, even from when we started the channel. Like I feel like I've exponentially changed in a short amount of time because I don't know, it just therapy. But I think it's really important to just be clear that I did not have this unbelievable just Captain America strength that just got me through. Dude, I crumbled. I cannot explain to you how unequipped I was to face this. I'm just as regular as you guys. I mean, I'm just a person. I'm a human being. And when this happened, I had no idea how to face it. I mean, so many angles, your mom, your uncle, your sister, your brother, your dad, the world, the media, the criticism, the just haters, the crap talkers, the defamators, the tweeters and deleters, you know, just all that stuff. And then on top of that, then you just kind of feel like, you know, you're jumping on these shows because they promise you they're going to do this thing, and they never deliver that. They never delivered that one time, by the way. They always said, we're going to talk about your family. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. They never, ever came through on those promises. And so I learned a very, very important lesson very early on. Some things you cannot give to someone else's hands and have them do it for you. And you wouldn't think the world's like that. It was sad, bro. But I think all of us who have been there in our lowest, it's just like, yeah, I wasn't even I was like on the ground doing a freaking fire drill. I was rolling barely. I didn't roll for a minute. I told you guys there's a really significant moment that I always share with you, was the moment where I really felt like God was like, you're in a graveyard. And it really made sense. Cause if you had told me that the day before, I wouldn't have been there with you. But to feel like you know, I was literally just sitting there in a graveyard, like I'm just planted in this graveyard. I'm not dead, but I'm here with them in this graveyard. It just made me realize like how my life was and how I was just, you know, that choice you have to make sometimes. It's get up and go or lay down and die. Pick one. And I knew that the answer was not to do that because I had a family and I have to keep going. And so I think that a lot of that woke me up, but it was still a process from that point. It took years of work to get to this place at all. Um, I'm very excited to have our premiere. If we get to do that, my gosh, is it going to be fun? We're doing red carpet. We're going to have a photographer. Cause you know what? I don't care. We're just having fun. We're going to have a good time. We're going to get all dressed up. I'm going to get a nice little suit. Who knows? Ray has to come he's going to show up in his Magic Mike. I'm not going to look. You guys enjoy. He can sit in the back. Not dealing with that. You guys can have fun with it, but we're all going to have fun. That's been the goal. I've always wanted to do everything from our community and make it happen for ourselves. So it's just really important to do it from within. You know what I mean? It's gonna be really fun. And you know what it is? And again, I say this a lot, but it's like celebrating your wins are really important. I just want to say that. Just celebrating wins and celebrating good things and having celebration in life is important. You have to do both. You have to allow stuff to happen and you have to take the hits, and then you also have to accept that, and then you also get to have fun. And life is a bunch of up and down. That's all it is. Can we invite Jason Momoa? I mean, you can ask him to come. You can ask him to come. He's not going to come as Aquaman. He needs to put his clothes on. Anybody who does that is going to put their damn clothes on. Let's just put it out there. You know what? This is just he has to. I don't even know if he's just going to have to do it. I guess that can be that we can just have him do his thing. I'll show up late to the premiere. I love my boy Ray, but I'm not coming for that. So you guys have your hot flashes. You know, that's what it is. I'll show up when Ray's done with his part. So here's what we'll do. We'll schedule Ray pre-premiere. Then we'll play the documentary after. Okay, because I'm not coming. Jason Momoa is Aquaman. Big dude, tatted up. His movie was horrible. Let's be honest. I have to say that I'm just gonna say it. And I like Jason Momoa as an actor. I think he's a good actor. The Aquaman with Jason Momoa, the first one, is on my list of top 5 worst movies I've ever sat through. I'm just gonna say that, just so we're on the same page. I mean, we can't. I mean, if we did it, if we go like this, if we do this, we're going out. We're having Scarlett come. I mean, why don't we just call Megan Fox? We'll get everybody out there. I think it would be cool though to do it because it's such a people's project. So it's like it's just gonna be different. But we're gonna have fun with it. It's gonna be a good time. We also have a lot of different venues. I actually looked into it. There's a bunch of different places we could do it. So that's pretty cool. In my mind, it had to be at a movie theater. And then I realized there's other places that will play and you can get like an auditorium and like a bigger spot and everything. So you can kind of do what you want with it. I mean, it's yours. But you guys bring whoever you want for your date. I guess they'll have to be on the +1. We'll talk to security. You already know IPS is going to be guarding. So don't worry about anything. There's going to be security. IPS is going to be all over the place. But I'll tell you that it really is important for me to share it with you guys. And I think a live premiere would be not the icing on the cake. It would be the dream to do it like that, like really show you guys that all that hard work and like the story, just everything we've ever talked about for years, and have that moment. That's like my absolute pinnacle of a dream. And like I said, once it's out there, and I want people to be able to watch it, and that's it. So, oh my gosh, Carter's going to be so big. He's already so big now. I can't even imagine. You want me to invite the judge? I'm sure he'll come watch it as long as you guys leave him alone. See, this thing, I got to trust you. If I bring somebody out there, I got to trust you. I invite people to this premiere. You better be acting right. He's going to bring his wife. Okay. He's a married man. You better act right, but he might come. Here's the thing I want you guys to understand. I see those people, like I said, the law enforcement, but also the judges and the prosecutors and stuff like that. They're very deeply involved. I mean, this is such a big deal, and it really affected their life too. So they're integrated into it. You know what I'm saying? So I just want that to be clear that they're definitely a part of it. So they can easily, I would invite them to anything. I have a lot of love and respect for them. So, but you guys better, hey, you better chill. I bring out my boy Ray. We bring out Judge McDreamy. We bring out the peeps. IPS is gonna have to either start a circle or we're gonna have to slow it down. I do want to say this because she did say that I could talk about it, and I usually would not do this, but I think it's not something I'm trying to do. So you guys are, um, I don't know. I'm just gonna say it because I'm not. I can't think of a better way to present it. I had a really good conversation with Kay, and we have always talked about the way that this needs to be done. And so she told me that I'm allowed to tell you that she said she would do the documentary, and that has never happened. We have never actually been on the same documentary, and it's really just because at that time, those companies kind of tie you into stuff, and they want you to like kind of be exclusive to their thing. And so this is the first time ever that you'll have her in it with me, even in the same place. So she's one person I will 100% tell you how who wants to do it, and that's a big deal because her perspective is important, and we've never done a project like this ever. And I think it's important that you guys know she's such an important person. And I told her obviously I wouldn't even want to really do this whole thing without her perspective through it all. And I tell you that not to sound like I'm trying to be cool or anything, but we had that conversation. I just thought it's so important for people to know what they're getting in this documentary is so many people who experienced it. And I think that's the whole point, is like you guys are going to have a perspective you've never had. I'm telling you that. That's why I'm doing it on my own, because I know what the vision needs to be. God gave me those gifts and interests for a reason. And so even when it comes to all those things, but I share that with you just so you have an understanding that even that alone has never happened. And we've talked about it for a long time. And I have a lot of love and respect for them. And it's just they're so important. And it's just like everybody that I talk to that is going to do it has really put their heart on the line to say they will do it because they love the people, they love the family, they're involved, but then they also have done it because I asked, and I think that that made it even more special. And so I'm trying to let you guys know because I don't want to expose the documentary just because unfortunately there's a lot of people who will go and try to put their hands in it, and it becomes messy. Let's just put it that way. I'm trying to protect it the best I can. What I will tell you is though, is it's important because her story is important, Larry's story is important, and all the other people that are in it. And so that's what it is. I've known Kay for my whole life almost. I mean, I met her when I was 9 or 10. I mean, she's Charles's sister, so she's my aunt, right? She lived out in Louisiana, and we would go visit, and then she would visit, and then when my family adopted JJ, she would come back and forth, and we would go to Louisiana. So I've been around Kay for a long time. I mean, I met her when I was 9 or 10, I want to say. But yeah, I've known her pretty much my whole life. I'm 30, so I've known her for a really long time. But like I said, I tell you that simply because it's important for you to understand how serious I am about this and how much I care and how I want to give people a perspective that they've never had. And that's just one person. You know what I mean? And yeah, I just want you guys to know that because I have a lot of love and respect for them. And it's such a hard situation, and we'll get into that in the documentary. There's so much that happens in something like this that I think needs to be out there as part of the fullness of the story. So we'll get into it. But I'm really appreciative of her saying that. And she is she's great. And I'm excited because what I've tried to do from the beginning is give you guys firsthand. That's it. I don't want you hearing the third hand. I want you to have firsthand and it's a lot of people that have firsthand. So I think it's gonna be beautiful. I cannot wait. I'm unbelievably excited. Now, last thing I'll say, 'cause I didn't realize I talked your ears off for 2 hours. The last thing I will say about this whole thing is that this channel and the documentary, they're like all kind of rolled up, but at the same time, it's really important that you understand that I'm not going to just have everything we talk about be about the documentary. This channel is always going to be its own thing, no matter what happens. I just want that to be out there. So us spending time together, us hanging out, talking about different stuff, that's still going to happen. And then the documentary stuff, obviously, is the upload, things like that. But I'm excited because, like I said, I love our community. I love talking to you. I could do this for probably another 3 hours. We could just sit here and talk about anything. But the story obviously really important to me too. So I just want to give you an update on the documentary and let you know that we're getting really close to having even just all the equipment purchased, which is huge. I mean, it's insane. So thank you guys. I mean, seriously, like thank you from the bottom of my heart for making that even possible. We're this close to being able to just purchase the equipment that's needed. I mean, that's such a big part of the production. It's not even funny. Like it's so important to have that because without any of the equipment, it can't happen. And so that's a big part of it. So we're moving into the new, but I'm excited to share. Let's just put it out there. And it's going to be emotional. It's going to be raw and it's going to be real. And yeah, it's going to be something different. I don't think you've ever seen anything like this because obviously I'm going to have my own, I guess, what's the best word, flavor spin to it. But it's going to go into that, a new place, a place we haven't visited. So come with me. I'm getting tired. If I start singing, I'm too tired. What time is it? It's 8:50. Man, I'm old, bro. I'm 30 years old. When it gets to 8:50, I might as well, as once it gets close to 9 o'clock, I'm ready. You gotta cut me off. Shut me down, brother. You don't want me out here singing to you. I love you guys, man. Let's do this again soon. Like I said, this is our last live in this studio. That does not mean it's our last live at all, but we'll be in a new studio soon. I'll keep you guys up to date on everything that we are doing. The documentary, obviously, you guys are going to get a ton of updates once we get to those points. Man, you guys are amazing. I'm sorry I kept you up so late. You guys are freaking 11:50. I'm sorry. Talking your ear off at 11:50. Man, that's crazy. Well, I love you. I mean, I can't say that I appreciate you more than I do. You guys being here, man. Okay, you know what? Everybody's out here. It's midnight. I get tired. Okay, I get tired. When it's like around 9. I'm like, you know what? It's all the brain function shutting down. The meningitis menace is coming out. I'm starting to get numb. I've been getting numb more lately. It's freaking crazy. It's so weird to have that. It's weird to live with that. It's just such an odd thing. Like you're just sitting there and you just go numb. I'm like, Dr. House, somebody call Dr. House and just get him over here. It'd take him like 20 minutes. Just tell him, bring his cane and let's get this done. Just diagnose me. You know what I mean? Just get it done. I love you guys, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all the adventures in this studio specifically. I think we have so much to look forward to. I am grateful for you. I am humbled at our love, the fact that you guys are listening and here late into your night. It just means the world to me. It just shows how real you guys all are, and I love that. I could not thank you enough. So I just appreciate you. All right, I love you guys. Have a great rest of your night. Go get some sleep, and I'll see you guys very soon in our new studio. Love you guys, man.